welcome to Board Game Coffee Espresso.
Today we're going to be talking about Titanic, the board game. Titanic is published by Spin Master Games. It plays 2 to 5 people, and it is for ages 8+.
And it plays for about 30 to 60 minutes, which actually seems about right. I think that's around how long it takes us to play. We have a playthrough video of this, don't we?
We do.
We need to see how long that took. Minus all the teach, it's probably a little longer. But yeah, 30 to 60 minutes is accurate, which is not always the case on the numbers printed on the box. We play slow. Titanic is a competitive game, and as you might have guessed, it takes place on the... Brittany?
Titanic?
You nailed it! You nailed it! It takes place on the Titanic. But it takes place on the worst time of the Titanic. It's when the Titanic is going down. So you're on the ship. You start at the bottom and the ship is flooding. So your goal is to escape the ship and save as many people as possible and deliver them to the raft so they can escape and be survivors, not victims.
The ship is like a maze. There's constantly walls in your way you're trying to navigate through. There's cards that allow you to kind of go to other rooms across the boat. It's pretty cool.
It's like teleportation on the Titanic. They have those cards like, just jump to this. That does exist, does it? And they have those cards that are like, if you get to this room, you get bonus points.
Yes.
Because let's not forget, everything we're doing on this ship, saving these people and, getting to these rooms and trying to survive, it's all for points, right? Why else would you do this? Why else would you bother? It's every man for himself, unless there's points involved. Now, Titanic is a turn-based game, so I would take 2 to 5 actions, then Brittany takes her 2 to 5 actions, and we continue trying to screw each other over as much as possible.
Or save people.
Yeah, but we're not trying to save each other. Let's not forget, this is a competitive game. So as you're going around your, because I say 2 to 5 actions, because you only start, because first of all, it all depends on how many players you start with, determines how many actions you start the game with. But if you even start a game with only 2 actions, you can pick up the ability to earn more actions as you go through the boat, and you pick up these little blue cubes that gives you more actions that you can take per turn. And then there's also these lifesavers that you can pick up, so you can pick up more survivors per turn. And what have we learned about saving people?
They give you points.
They give you points!
Oh, but don't forget about the star tokens. They give you access to these cards, and these cards give you special abilities, and there's thematic abilities. You can draw people, sing people. It's all thematic with the movie.
Sing people?
Well, you sing to people.
And Brittany drew me once. She did a terrible job. There's comments on that video.
I thought it was excellent.
People were not impressed with Brittany's drawing skills. But those cards are very powerful, and they are, I believe they're key if you want to like secure yourself a victory. They're not absolutely necessary, but I'd say they're very, very helpful. They're very helpful because there's a lot of points to be had. So go for the star tokens, pick up the cards.
Yeah, and each character has their own special ability too, which we never mentioned, which I think is pretty cool too because it gives a lot of variety if you're switching around characters and playing different games.
It's like, I think Rose gets extra points if she's the only person on the row. Jack can do double actions.
Yeah, the captain gets to actually bypass floors. Or,
he's like
goes through walls.
He's like a ghost. He's like Casper.
It's pretty cool.
Casper, the friendly captain, and he can go through walls. He's a cheater is what he is. Oh, and one key thing which you've probably figured out, but if you don't make it off the Titanic, you lose 0 points. All those people who survived amounted to nothing. Sure, they'll go on with their lives, they'll have kids, and their kids will have kids. You might have made a doctor or saved some future doctors, whatever that is. Bottom line is you didn't get any points if you don't get off the Titanic, and that sucks, right? Come on, agree with me here.
This game is great for people who are really interested in kind of like a competitive experience, but something that's simple that you can just get straight to the table.
Yeah, it's really easy to learn. The whole rule book is like this 3-page fold-out pamphlet.
Oh, and one thing we should mention is that it's an inexpensive game to get into.
Yeah, because board games can get pricey, but Titanic is not one of those. Now, although Titanic, the board game, is based on a romance movie, it can be pretty ruthless. You know in the movie, I can't remember which character that was. It was the Billy Zane character where he was like dressed as a woman, an old woman, so he could get on the boat, on the lifeboat at the end. That's pretty much who we all are. We're all the jerks trying to sneak our way onto the boat and save ourselves and get points. That's it. It's like a romance movie turned into this ruthless, cutthroat board game of every man for themselves.
And saving meeples.
Yes, them too.
We like playing this game as two, but we prefer to play it as actually a bigger group. So it's great for like a date night or having friends over or for the family.
I agree. We had fun at 2 players, but definitely what you said, what Brittany said, it plays much better with like 3, 4, 5 people. I find the more people you have on the boat, the more competitive and cutthroat it gets. And then you kind of have to plan more. Because when it's only 2 people, you can pretty much be like, I'm going to stick to my side of the boat and you're going to stick to your side of the boat. The only reason you just cross over is really to try to screw each other over, which we do. We did that naturally. Mm-hmm. But when you had a third person, then there's always somebody getting in the way. The more people you add, the more people are getting in the way. But in a good way. They're getting in the way. It's bad for you, but it's good for the game. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It changes up what your plans are because you have to act fast because there's water coming.
Yeah, and jerks to take your stuff. All right, well, that's it for this episode of Board Game Coffee Espresso. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee. But if you want to see more right now, we got plenty of videos to choose from. And if that's not enough, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Mark Maya, and this is Board Game Coffee. And remember, have fun, keep gaming, be social. See you next week.